Yo, what's up everyone? Kyrios here, and today we're going to be going over should you pull for Zayla. Now, if you didn't know, Zayla is the first limited banner, at least was the first limited banner that we had in closed beta, and it looks like it will be at launch as well. And I'm just going to say it right now, she's cracked, but there is some caveats that we really need to talk about. So if you guys can hit that like and subscribe, let's go ahead and get started. All right, before we get super started here, I want to talk about a few things. One, I'm going to structure this video in many different ways. We'll go over her kit, we'll go over some gotchas, we'll go over some pros and cons. We'll also talk about a little bit of 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 because that's probably the second banner, and we'll talk about the most important thing in the beginning. But I do want to point out that there's only really two end games right now, and there's Memory of Chaos and there's Simulated Universe. And unfortunately, in both of these styles of gameplay, you really need a lot of AoE. So just keep that in mind, that a lot of single target is just not as good as there being AoE with the structure that we have right now. And that may change over the course as they add new events in, new things to do in, and as we get more and more higher level. All right, I'm going to cut right into the thick of it. The thing that you should be most concerned when pulling any unit, and this actually has something to do with Genshin as well and a lot of other games, is the 4 stars you're going to get. Now, I'm flashing on screen real quick. I have the best 5-star guide and the best 4-star guide on your screen right now, and they will literally give you the spoilers to what I'm about to say. But if we're looking at Zayla's banner, you have Natasha, you have Hook, and you have 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿. And unfortunately, this is a very bad 4-star banner. Hook is not the greatest character in the world. Is she usable? Yes, but not someone I would particularly focus on. Natasha, great healer, but her constellations, or her Eidolons, I should say, don't really matter. She's good at Eidolon 0. You don't really need additional Eidolons. They don't bring a whole lot to the table. And then you do have 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿. Now, 𝙀𝙓𝙃 is an amazing sub DPS and is used in a lot of the end game for doing AoE. So I will give you that 𝙀𝙓𝙃 is really good. But one thing I want to talk about is if you look at the second banner, which is 𝙀𝙓𝙃𝙉𝙃's banner. But if you're looking at 𝙀𝙓𝙃's banner, you can see the 4 stars listed here. Then you have Xusheng, which is like the second or third highest DPS in the game for single target. I'm flashing that on screen right now. And then you have 𝙀𝙀𝙀, which is the #1 triple S++. Unless she gets nerfed at live, she is the best support 4-star in the game. Spoiler. So, and then you have 𝙀𝙀𝙃, who is one of the best AoEs in the game, where you can see the DPS meters right here on your screen. So it's really hard to justify pulling, because a lot of times you're not gonna get Zayla unless you get super lucky, right? Because you only have like a 0.6 or 0.8% drop rate, and you really want to pull based on the 4 stars, because the 4 stars are going to help you, and the 4 stars for 𝙀𝙀𝙃 are just way better. Now, this may change it live, they may change the characters, but you have the best 4-star single target DPS, you have the best 4-star support DPS, and then you have 𝙀𝙀𝙃, who is the best AoE DPS in the game. This banner might set you up for success. So I just want you to be very cautious going into it. Okay, let's talk about Zayla. One, she's amazing. And let me just say this. If she's your #1 favorite character, your waifu, whatever, right? You pull her. It doesn't matter what I say. You pull her, she's going to be great. Now, she is absolutely cracked. She is very skill hungry, where you're going to want to you're not even going to do single target, or you're not going to do basic attack ever on her almost. You're going to skill every single time, because it's going to increase her speed by 2 turns. So you want to keep that going at all times. Deals quantum damage, absolutely amazing. And then she has an ultimate where she does a ton of damage on a single target. Now, what really makes her amazing is her appear again. Now, she takes down an enemy based on doing a skill, basic, ultimate, doesn't even really matter. She'll go into a buff state where she increases her damage and she gets an extra automatic turn. Now, this can only happen once per turn or once per wave, depending on how fast you're clearing them, but an absolute monster. Her traces are great across the board. She lowers her chance of getting attacked, which is always amazing. Having a tank in your team and not getting your DPS attacked is great. So when she's low on life, she's less likely to get attacked. When she uses a basic attack, she'll advance forward. You're not really going to basic attack on her, so this one's kind of lost, unfortunately. So I wouldn't focus on leveling this one right away. And then the other thing I do like is that her lacerate is when she's in that buff state, she increases resistance pen by an additional 20%. So I would honestly focus on lacerate first, then Nightshade if you were to pull her. Now, if you're looking to pull her, if you're a whale out there or a medium spender and you're going to pull her no matter what, honestly, the place that you want to stop is E1, E2. E1 is going to give you the speed boost effect whenever you use her skill. That can be stacked 2 times. So if you do skill, just keep that rotating, you're going to get a 50% speed buff. Absolutely crucial. And then I do like when she does attack targets, so boss targets that have less than 50% of their max HP, she does get additional crit. Crit is king, crit damage is king, everything's king, speed's king. She's just cracked across the board. Now, quickly before I talk about her light cone, I do want to point out that we have a lot of other characters coming, right? We do have Kafka coming, who is a lightning character. So Jingyun and Kafka are kind of fit the same role. So I'd be very careful if you're looking to get Kafka, if you're going to pull Jingyun. But once again, those 4 stars are amazing. And then you do have Silver Wolf, which is the same quantum as Zayla and also single target. And honestly, I'm not going to go over her kit right now, but on face value, and we won't know until she goes live, she seems even more cracked than Zayla. But they kind of fit 2 different roles in a way. Her light cones, do you need to pull her light cone? Maybe. As we talked about before, her Eidolons are very important. And I would honestly go Eidolon 1, then probably grab the light cone and go Eidolon 2. But you're getting into whale territory, not free-to-play territory. And a lot of these guys are free-to-play focus. But I'm just going to cover this real quick. Her specific light cone increases her crit rate by 12%. It also, for every 10 speed over 100, increases the basic attack and skill damage by 6 and increases crit damage of the ultimate by 8 as well, stacking 8 times. So you need to get up to 180 speed. But luckily, her base speed is already super fast. So you don't actually have to get a speed main stat on her. You just got to get some speed substats on a lot of the gear, and you'll get up to that 180. And I wouldn't build speed on her anyways. I would build just raw attack, raw crit rate, raw crit damage, and just make her do an absolute monstrous amount of damage. And this is going to really help you out. But for your free to play, if you do pull her, you're going to want to do the 4-star. In my opinion, my favorite one is Only Silence Remains. Increases the attack by 16% if there's 2 or fewer targets, and increases the wearer's crit by 12%. Now, you're really bringing her to be a boss killer. So that's why this really comes into effect. Sword play isn't going to help you as much. Return to Darkness could work, but you don't really want her to be a dispeller to an extent. I mean, you could use it, but really, this is one of the best 4-stars you can use, especially considering you need to use, she is Hunt priority, and make sure you are stacking the right light cones with the right path that the character is. My final thoughts, should you pull Zayla? I think Zayla is going to be one of the best characters in the game, and it has a lot of staying power. The problem I'm going to have is that as a free-to-play and as a light spender, you're just not going to get a lot of summons, especially with the game being live right away. And you're going to have to try and pull on that banner, and you're probably not going to get to that 90 pity or 80 pity or whatever it is. I got to look it back up. You're probably not going to get all the way there, and especially if you miss the 50-50 and you're pulling nothing but Natasha, Hook, and Pela, you're going to be in for a world of hurt of progressing your game. Now, if you do wait the 2 or 3 weeks and actually pull on the Jingyun banner and actually get Shu Shang with, we've already reviewed her with some of her Eidolons, you get Ting Yun with some of her Eidolons, and maybe you get Jingyun, and maybe you don't. Maybe you missed the 50-50 on that, but at least you've got some of the best 4-stars in the game, and it's super going to set you up for success. So would I pull for Zayla? If you're a spender, yes, I would. I mean, if you're a spender, you're probably going to pull on both. And your Zayla is going to be absolutely amazing. But one of the best teams for Zayla is Ting Yun, Bronya, Zayla, plus a random healer or shielder. It doesn't matter who you put in there. That's a lot to ask out of a free-to-play team, and it depends on what you get on the beginner banner as well. So I just said a lot of information. Hopefully that helped you out. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any more questions. Let me know if this kind of cleared it up for you. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take it easy, and fist bump from me to you.